Narcissism is a tendency to be concerned only with oneself. Narcissism occurs on a spectrum. We all have narcissism within us. We need to be a bit narcissistic, otherwise we would never eat or drink or take care of ourselves. So again, it occurs on a continuum. When we have a healthy amount of narcissism, we consider our needs and the needs of other people. We consider ourselves and other, people's opinions. Now, when narcissism becomes toxic, when somebody is too concerned with themselves, too self-absorbed, then we start seeing heavy narcissistic traits. And when it's really heavy, then and pronounced, we can ultimately find that somebody has narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissism is believed to have somewhat of a genetic component, as with most personality and psychological characteristics. But generally, narcissism tends to really take hold as a result of parenting and childhood experiences. So if you have a parent who either ignores the child and leaves the child on their own too much, to where the child is fending for themselves and always thinking, oh, I have to take care of me, I have to take care of me, I have to look out for me, then that child ends up being very self-absorbed and self-interested. Another way that it occurs is when you have, for example, a father or a mother who take the child and treat the child as a pseudo partner. So the marriage is not a healthy marriage. And instead of being partnered with the significant other, the parent takes an interest in the child, generally self-serving, and might say, oh, well, let's go do this together. Or I like to do soccer, so I'll support you in soccer because I love soccer. So the child never knows what it is to have a healthy parent-child relationship. They know what it is to experience being the golden child, because they don't realize that they are a surrogate partner, but they feel special and all important. Another way narcissism can arise is when a child is baby. So, for example, the parents are gone and elder sisters or elder brothers really baby the child and watch over the child, and the child does not experience natural consequences, but they're doted on too much. And that's often what happens with the narcissist. The parents are too busy to give the child healthy consequences, so they grow up thinking they're special. The symptoms of narcissism, there are so many, and we've talked about a couple. Being judgmental, being hypercritical of others. Now, they're often very critical of themselves, but they'll never say anything about it. They just have this nasty inner critic going on and snipping. They also tend to be quite aggressive. Many narcissists are very bullying in nature. They tend to lack kindness, compassion, emotional intelligence. They are often very good in the business world because they're good, and in politics even, because they're good at getting their needs met. They're like this big bulldozer that'll bulldoze through anyone and anything to get their needs met. Yet they can also be very charismatic. So they can put on a very nice guy or nice woman facade, but when push comes to shove, when you get them behind closed doors, they're often very abusive. They're often addicts to something, whether it's addicted to work, whether it's addicted to success, addicted to, substances, addicted to philandering, extramarital affairs, because all of those are because they aren't willing to work on things that truly matter inside the self. So they go into the external world big time. They're often also very much abusive in particularly in their intimate relationships. They'll be emotionally abusive, spiritually abusive, sexually abusive, withholding sex or demanding sex when it's not wanted. Anything they can do to exert control, to make everything on their terms. And that's the narcissist. The narcissist wants to live on their terms. Narcissists are terrible with consistency because one day they'll want something, the next day they won't. One day they will set a boundary, the next day they don't care about it. One day they're going to be gentle, the next day they're in a bad mood and they're going to be really hard. So the narcissist is very much like this Rocky Mountains, all of these mountains going up and down. They don't notice it because they're in it and they're doing what they want to do. They don't realize that the child or the partner living on the opposite end of that is getting very confused and erratic because everything's changing all the time. One day mommy's nice or daddy's nice, the next day daddy's mean and a bully. The wounded narcissist, the one who has experienced childhood trauma and not been coached in how to notice the trauma, notice emotions, feel emotions, process emotions, that can really foster narcissism because then the narcissist learns to hold everything inside. So that's, they're not processing their emotions. They're not processing. Oh, and this is a really important piece here, Pamela. Part of being a healthy child, part of being a healthy adult, is noticing when we mess up, because we're all imperfect. We all mess up. So having someone guide you in a conscientious way toward, oh, I made a mistake. It doesn't mean I'm stupid, and it doesn't mean I'm so special I don't need natural healthy consequences, but it means that I'm supposed to learn to self-reflect. What did I do?
Yeah.
What wasn't healthy about it, or what was healthy about it? How can I apologize, make amends, and do better next time? Personality disorders are difficult to change. They are. But for certain personality disorders, medication helps. For some, like narcissistic personality disorder, it's more about doing the work, going to therapy, doing the work again and again and again, spending time instead of always thinking about business or, your next performance or your next, exercise mission. Spend some time driving to and from work or while you're in the kitchen or tinkering in the garage, thinking about, oh, here's a part of myself. I was really mean to my daughter the other day, or my partner says that I don't spend enough quality time with him or her. What are some things about me that I can shift and keep working on to develop this part of myself? And sure, the narcissist, like everybody else, will mess up now and again. But the beautiful part about that is that when we mess up, whether we're riding a bike or practicing yoga or painting a picture or writing a book, if we notice where we've messed up and just say, oh, I messed up. I'm so sorry. How can I improve it? A narcissist isn't doomed to be a narcissist. A person is not doomed to live out their flaws, the flaws that they likely inherited from their parents. We all have not only the power, Pamela, but the responsibility to work on ourselves bit by bit. It's a lifelong journey. I'll be working on myself forever.
Yeah.
And when we take that attitude, it's no longer a burden. It's just like, oh, well, this is just a fun part of life. I get to work on myself so that tomorrow I can be a little bit better.